Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of Casual Collectors and Cocktails. I am the great Jimoski, and I am here with my good friend Greg. Say hi, Greg.
Hello, everyone. This is Gregory back again,
Greg, why don't you?
episode 3.
Yeah. Well, let's wait. We've been de-emphasizing the cocktails component of our little shows here. What do you have on tap for tonight?
Today, going for some Yellowtail Shiraz Cabernet blend,
A blend. Nice.
rich, smooth, and vibrant.
All right. And I
2024, aged well.
Wow. Okay. It sounds like a classic. And I have a bourbon by Four Roses, which I think is fairly popular these days. It's got a little kick to it. I like it. It's nice and fragrant, and I am warm and toasty as we're about to begin discussing tonight's topic, which I'll let Greg introduce.
What's in the box?
What's in the
What's in the
box?
box?
What's in the box? Another interesting inside reference. And if you know it, we'd love to hear from you in the comments if you get that reference. But tonight's a show is all about lunchboxes, collectible lunchboxes, not the ones you find today, right? Not the ones you'd find at a Walmart, but the stuff you have to kind of dig around and go back many years. We're going to look at some classics, and as is the case many times for our show, we're going to jump off on eBay here, and I'm going to follow Greg's lead here. So what are we looking for, Greg?
Let's look for some classic Batman and Superman lunch boxes.
So should I type in Batman and Superman? Superman lunch
Sure.
box. Should I type in vintage? Do you think that matters? It auto-suggested vintage.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. All right. Here we go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. Okay, well, some interesting things have popped up here. There's an old thermos, which is kind of cool. Super Friends vintage thermos for $10. That seems kind of a cool price, and very similar one, but different colors. But it's like the same concept of Super Friends for $20. It says it's 1976, which that is like right up my alley. I mean, this stuff does indeed look vintage. But here's your vintage superpowers. Now, superpowers is not, I mean, it kind of fits into the vintage category for me. 83, that's kind of cool. And superpowers
There
was
should be
also,
some earlier ones from the 50s
right,
that are pretty cool.
going way back. Let's see.
Yeah, maybe we have to specifically put in a date
Well,
or a year.
if you've got a date, I'll put it in. But yeah, there's stuff from like 2020 here. That's not vintage. Let's see. Super Friends thermoses. 2000 Hallmark. Meh, I'd pass on that. That's not really feeling ultra vintage to me. Yeah, I'm kind of striking out with this search. Unless you got any other guides, but I could also like filter by date, can't I? Let me scroll down here a little bit. More filters, right?
Apparently, vintage is 1998 now.
Yeah, wow, hard to believe. I know what we were doing then.
We must be vintage then.
Yeah, pretty vintage. Once again, price, buying format, item location, seller, shipping options, local pickup, and show only. It's not really giving me good filters here. But I can sort by. It's doing like best match, time ending soonest. Let me put a year. Give me a year, Greg.
1966
Yeah, yeah,
Batman.
yeah. Let's go back in time. Okay, now we're getting serious. Okay, and this just is automatically cool. Oh, and there's a Superman. So here's a Batman. I'm going to click into this one because that just looks rad. This is amazing. This is $135 plus $683 shipping. Buy it now. So this isn't even an auction. And this is a fantastic collectible here. I think those are contours. Is that like kind of, they press the metal and it's like embossed, right?
Embossed, that's a good word.
Yeah, it's kind of popping out a little bit. Oh, he's on the back. This scene looks horrific. And
Yeah.
what's holding him up? Where's that rope coming from? The bat copter, I guess, maybe. It's like rescuing some poor kid in his underwear.
Yeah. Why does he make Robin do all the work?
Yeah, it is missing the handle. You know what's really interesting? I mean, there's a degree of certainty and authenticity of these things because almost all the old ones I ever look at have rust in them, right? Or dents, but the patina, right, on these clasps and everything else, you know, just pretty instantly recognizable that this thing is old, and it's seen some definite wear and tear. But I guess these are rare enough where even with this much damage, even like Robin's image is a little marred there. You could still, go out there and ask for 135 bucks for it. This one has the thermos and the handle, and it's a buy it now, commanding more of a premium price for 329.
Is that even in this shrink wrap or no? Am I
No,
just
no,
seeing the
it's just
glare?
yeah, it's just a little glare in the screen and glossy from the way they took the photo. But still, it's obvious that this belonged to somebody who was used. Maybe there's even like a peanut butter sandwich inside of it. But still commanding that like high price. I mean, these things are obviously collectible. It's got 27, watchers or likes. But I love that it's with the thermos. I think that, oh wow, look at that. So what is this? Oh, I see. This is like a little public service announcement, like safety thing inside, That's neat that that's still like intact. I mean, I don't restore stuff because I don't know how to do it, but I think even with like just a little like TLC, this could be kind of cleaned up a little bit to where it wouldn't ruin anything, like the paint, and get some of like those nasty stains out of there and stuff. But just once again, even with this like level of wear and tear, it's still asking for 329 for this and all these watchers. Are you interested in these, Greg? Is this something you're interested in collecting?
That's a good question. I had some when I was a kid, in the right shape, nice display piece. I'd have to go down the rabbit hole and see what my interests are. And I know you're a big Star Wars guy, so maybe you want to look at Star Wars
Oh yeah, I think that's definitely where we're going
lunchboxes
next.
next.
Yeah, definitely where we're
But the
going next.
Batman's definitely cool.
But here you go. This is I
I love the fight scene.
you were doing some background and basically producing this episode for us, and I hadn't even thought of these, and these are super cool. I don't have the budget right now for $650, but here's a one that looks like it's a really good specimen. Some light wear and tear, but definitely less than what we saw on the other ones. But this just looks so cool. I was at the Smithsonian Museum years ago, maybe about 4 years ago, and they had a bunch of these on display. I don't think they had this one, but this is obviously the same one. This vintage 1966, and there's our poor little friends, and Robin's looking like he's in good shape there on this one. Like some again light wear and tear, but what's really cool is on the thermos, he flipped the photo around, and there's
The
the Joker, yeah,
villains.
the villains, the Penguin, and the Joker pouring tar on the ground, and the Penguin accidentally stepped in it, right? But what a cool little scene. These back in the day must have been really cool. But back in the day when I was a kid, it was all about Star Wars. So let's jump there next. And I'm wondering if they produced Star Wars lunchboxes in '77 or later. Star Lunch, Star Wars Lunch. So it auto completes or auto, suggests 1977. And there it
77,
is.
1980.
And this thing, I really want one of these. Now, here you go, Greg. This is one of those things where you're always coaching me. Here's one for $399, and here's one for $100, or best offer.
I'm,
What's the
on my
difference?
computer, I'm looking at some sold listings.
Yeah,
and they
that's your
vary
technique.
because condition anywhere from looks like 65 to 200, depending if the thermos is still there. So 65 to 200 is definitely a big range.
It is a big range. Yeah, this one looks pretty beat up. I think that's why it's only $100. But it is cool. You know, there's Vader and classic Luke and Leia on one side, and 3PO and R2D2 on the other side. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. The the stormtrooper on the big lizards. What's that called? Dewback? No. What is this thing?
The dewback.
It is the dewback. Yeah.
Yes.
So just really like just thoughtful. They could have wrapped the sides in just colors, and put like a star field, but they were really thoughtful with the graphics. And this also is interesting because it represents like an early foray into the licensing that made Lucasfilm what it became, right? This highly valued property that was eventually acquired by the Walt Disney Company. I think they paid like $4 billion for it, right? So all because George Lucas had this concept of merchandising, right?
Yep, merchandising.
The living heck out of this brand. But even though there's a lot of merchandising examples from the late '70s and early '80s. It's nothing like today, right? I mean, they'll slap a Star Wars sticker on like everything. It seems like. But so there you go. Like you were mentioning, that's $40. Oh, but no thermos, right?
Yeah, a lot of those with the X-wing, they seem to be very scuffed up and
Yeah.
on the lower end of like $40, $46.
Whoa, here's one for 1,450. Is it in mint condition? And then are you aware, like, did these ever get reprinted ever, or do you think it's fairly safe that these are all like vintage from back in the day? I mean, it has some stamp on it that says 1977, right?
I mean, you have to check for dates. I'm sure a lot of these things were reprinted at some point.
Yeah, this one says 1977 for the copyright.
I
Maybe.
know a lot went to plastic, so
Oh yeah,
they
sure.
weren't the metal versions anymore.
Metal. Yeah, and here you go. Here's one with a thermos for 82.65. I'm definitely committed to adding one of these to my collection, 100%. But I'm looking for just that like right example of the balance between price and condition. It's, as many of us did right back in the day, you'd write your name right on your stuff, lest it
Yep.
get mixed in and disappear.
You could always change your name.
That's true. And as you see, the wear and tear can sometimes be pretty extreme. This one's the original, label or
Yeah, it
sticker
looks like
got
the
ripped
X-wing
off.
one is almost like it's pre-damaged.
Well,
The way I look at these things.
and so this is the one you're referring to. One side is this, classic dogfight picture, and the other side's that it's actually an artistic rendering, right? I don't think it's a production photo. Yeah, it's art, right? It's a graphical representation of that cool scene, right? You don't need to.
That one looks so familiar. Like if I don't think I had it, but I'm pretty sure one of my friends as a kid had that.
Oh yeah,
'Cause it just looks so familiar.
they don't really make these things anymore, right? Like my kids' lunchboxes are all like soft, like pouches, where you can put cooler packs in them, and they have little compartments and everything. These were like hefty, right? I mean, were they made out of steel? I don't even know.
I think they were tin, but
Oh, they were tin, but it was all pressed. I mean,
it, to my recollection, they weren't heavy unless you had the thermos inside of it.
okay. Then it became a weapon, right?
Then it became a weapon. That's one of the reasons why they discontinued them.
Oh, really?
Kids started bashing each other in the head, as
Yeah.
only kids would do.
It's got, it had everything it needed. It had, the weight inside for your soup or, milk or whatever, and then the handle, and you were able to, fight
And you
Goliath
probably
with it.
had, like you said, a peanut butter and jelly or a bologna sandwich that sat there for 6 hours until we ate it.
Well, eBay knows what I'm looking for already. I typed in Empire Strikes. It said Empire Strikes Back lunchbox. So aside from the Star Wars one, this is definitely something I'm going after. And, here we go. It's an example for $240. And that's in no way a comment on the seller. It's a marketplace. And if he feels like he can get 240 for it, then go for it. It's just my own kind of, miserliness. I'm so cheap when it comes to this stuff. But, oh, and it's got Yoda on the thermos. That's super cool. I don't think I had this either. That's a cool classic sort of like Empire design, post Star Wars. Like Darth Vader just became such a badass, right? An intimidating
Watch your
figure.
language.
Yes, gotta. And there was another thing aside from writing, right, your name, you could scratch it, right? You could use like, a needle or a screwdriver or something and etch your name at the bottom of it. Cloud City, cool little scene there. Oh, and there's RT. He knows it's his, and the tunnels of Hoth, right? That's pretty cool. He was definitely intent on keeping this thing. I wonder if this is the seller. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. But this one's in pretty good shape, actually, and the seller knows it, right? So Aladdin, right? The brand, right? You can put your hot cocoa in there, maybe. But that's so cool. These are really neat. What's some other ones, other brands or vintages we could look for, Greg?
Well, the one I definitely owned was King Kong.
King Kong. There it is. It came up. 1977 King Kong, huh?
Yes.
This is it, huh?
That's the one I brought to school. I think I whacked somebody over the head with it myself.
You thought you were King Kong and they had to pay. This one's in a little rough shape.
I think I was the one that got it banned from the school, and we had to bring in paper bags.
You just ruined it for everybody.
Yeah.
Well, this one's in pretty rough shape, but $50. It's got that telltale like rust, and you see the paints come off now. It's completely corroded inside. It's a little bit of a rough example, but yeah, one side on the former World Trade Center, and then so he scaled
crazy.
The World Trade Center.
It's a crazy picture for a little kid to bring a lunchbox into school with King Kong destroying all the airplanes.
Right. He just looks really mad in general. I barely remember this version. Was it Faye Dunaway who was in it? Or is that from way back in the day? Maybe
Jessica
she was
Lange.
Jessica Lange. Faye Dunaway, was she the original actress from way
and
back?
Jeff Bridges.
Oh, no kidding, man. Jessica Lange and Jeff Bridges.
Fay Ray.
Fay Ray, yes, that's right. Thank you. I'm just
my useless knowledge kicks in.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Taking a quick drink break there.
This is definitely one I'd like to have because I definitely had this as a kid.
Yeah, let's look. I don't think this one's in
rough shape.
Yeah, that one's in rough shape. Yeah, but here we go, up to $60, and that from the picture looks good, but no thermos, maybe. Just clicking around here. No thermos. Yeah. So would you want the thermos and just you need to have like the whole thing?
You gotta get it complete. You need the thermos.
But you could buy it in parts, right? For $60 plus $10 shipping. And this one looks pretty nice, right? You might be able to put together this separately. This looks like it's in really good shape. Maybe
it does look like it's in good shape.
Maybe I'll buy it
clean on the
myself and then try to sell it to you at a profit. But just to test my theory, I'll do King Kong lunch thermos, 1977. Right? It even suggested. Oh, here it is with the thermos for $150 and looking in like pretty decent shape. But that's $150 or best offer, right?
I know the art on the thermos was tough because mine got scraped off.
Yeah, it almost looks pretty susceptible to damage, right? Like the stalker decal, right? It's a decal, right? That
I think it was printed on there.
Yeah, but they use a decal process, not right? Yeah, it's not a sticker. They use a decal process, but what's interesting about it, the way you're talking about it, is that you know, it's not like a big wrap or a big rectangle. It's these really fine edges that I think are really susceptible to being scraped off, right? But here you
Right.
go. Here's one for 30. So you go back 30 plus 866, so that's 40. So I mean, for basically $100,
About $100.
yeah, you could put this together and get it added to your collection. So I don't know. Is that something you're interested in doing? Maybe we could move forward with a purchase, and then once you get it, we could share it with the users or our audience.
Like you say, I've got to probably price hunt it a little more and do a little more research. But that's definitely a cool one.
Now, what is this one? King Kong Tin Titans lunchbox Marvel. This looks
That's
newer, like different
definitely
than the
the newer
movie.
end.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and there's one. This is the old. This is a retro, right? Yeah, from the old. Was it 1930s or whenever that old King Kong movie was made?
Right.
So wild. The old rabbit hole, right? I was just scrolling and I saw this one here. This is sometimes a good way to find bargains, right? This is in Great Britain, so that's a whole other dimension to collecting, in terms of stuff that's manufactured or owned overseas. And with
So
the, go
you're
ahead.
stealing my thunder on this one
Okay, go ahead.
because
I'll have a drink.
I was saving my little tidbit that the last mass-produced metal lunchbox was Rambo.
Is that
We've
true?
got that, yeah, 1985.
Wow, that is really cool. That's a cool factoid.
And that's a weird one too, where you just see him with his gun. Like,
That's true. It's like,
what's with the marketing?
yeah, it goes a little
Oh,
bit
that's a cool
outside. Right?
Superman one.
Yeah, it is really cool. Here, I'll jump back to that. But there's a lot going on with the Superman one. I don't think I've ever seen this actually as a kid growing up. It doesn't strike me as like, oh yeah, I remember that. But just to dive back into the Superman, it's got that public service kind of safety reminder for kids and that, which is pretty neat little concept.
Food is a choking hazard.
Yeah, it's like,
How to do the Heimlich.
yeah, it's like, be nice to each other, like you don't litter, that type of stuff.
Don't smash each other in the head with the
Don't hit, yeah,
lunchbox.
do not. Maybe I wonder if that was in reaction to like these parental complaints about these things being used as weapons. Who knows? But boom, like there's little Kal-El, right, being popped into the spaceship. And is that Marlon Brando, right? Wasn't
That looks like Marlon Brando.
his wife doesn't look too happy. I guess she's sending her kid off to another planet, so it's understandable. But a cool scene, right?
Lifting up the car.
Lifting up the car, right?
The Kents.
Yeah, and what's his name? Perry, whatever. Wasn't it the newspaper publisher guy that was always giving Kent a hard time with Lois Lane? And is it Jimmy Olsen, right, in the background?
Christopher Reeve. Ah,
Yeah,
classic.
classic. Just perfectly cast for this role. And then we get into the King Kong one. What a fantastic rendition, right, of Superman there. That's
Yeah,
super
it's a
cool.
great image.
It's a great image. It also has like embossed feature. You see that's kind of popping out a little bit there.
Seems
The outline.
seems like a little more child friendly than
Yes. Then the
some of
one
the
we're going
ones
to look
we've
at
seen.
next, which and wait, hold on a second. There he is. Good luck, son. Oh no, wait a second. This is Superman 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they had General Zod in it, right? Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Neil to Zod.
Neil to Zod. Neil before Zod. Your King Kong one. Where's the Rambo one? There he is. With
There you go.
what is he? What is he holding? It's like an M60 with an
Rocket
RPG at the
launcher.
end of it. Like, and he is intent on using it on someone.
Yeah, Mom, I want the Rambo lunchbox for Christmas. All the kids will love it.
What's the line you do? That you can't give it a job parking cars anymore?
Yeah.
Oh,
They drew
see,
first blood, not me. They drew first blood.
here's, I after seeing the ones we've seen, this feels a little bit like a cop out with just the camo wrapper.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, what else are they going to show from the movie?
him like knifing a guy or something, or being tortured, right? Didn't they torture the poor guy?
Yeah.
I love that first blood film. It's excellent. I watch it every once in a while. It's a classic. All right. Well, you got any more before we wrap this episode up? Give me one more gem to search for.
One more gem. How about we go Star Trek?
Oh, what a great idea. Star Trek. That doesn't know I want a lunchbox. No, it thinks I want a phaser. Lunch.
Since, since Captain Kirk is in the news with his new cereal commercial.
Yes. God bless William
That
Shatner.
that's a good one. He
1968.
shat here, he shat there.
I actually will save it for another episode, but I have a really cool collectible I bought years ago for Star Trek. I'm not the biggest Star Trek fan, but I found the Super Phaser Target game. It's got a phaser and everything in the box, and I got it for a steal from a really nice seller. And it's in my collection. And it's something I feel like I'm going to keep forever because it's just such a cool little complete, you know, vintage, glimpse of Star Trek from
So I
back in the
want you to
day.
simplify your search a little to 1968 because that one's an interesting one.
Oh yeah, I did. I did. Here, I'll even simplify it. I'll even make it even more specific with thermos. Now that's the 79 one. Here's rare 1968 Star Trek lunchbox. Is that what I'm looking for? That one on the top there?
Yep. 'Cause it's
429
not. It
bucks.
doesn't look like it's tin.
Oh no, yeah, but this is one of those almost like it looks like a barn, like it's
I guess it is tin. Yeah.
this is more in the style of like a lunchbox that like workers would use back in the day, and the
Right.
thermos would clasp inside the lid. I can't quite remember if I had a lunchbox like this when I was a kid, but it's obviously a different style than the rectangular one.
Yeah. It almost seems like a toolbox.
1968 Paramount Pictures. Fascinating, Captain. It's okay. It's cool. It's not $429 cool for me in my budget, but it is pretty neat. It is definitely seen better days. That's too bad that Captain Kirk's image is all worn and torn.
It looks like he shat on it.
He's Shatner has seen better days. But if we scroll down, yeah, this is Star Trek the movie. Here's maybe a more minty one for 1,200 bucks or so. 1,155, $13 shipping. But let's see. All right, so this is what it should look like, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Spock is on full alert there with his little gizmo in his hands. But this is super cool. Absolutely. I, you know, I almost feel like something like this should be in a museum because that is a very pristine example of something. What was on the sides? Does he show? Oh yeah, cool. A little hallway scene. They're like running and gunning here. The artwork's,
Set your phasers to stun.
yeah, set him to stun. You might run into Princess Leia in the hallway.
Yeah.
And then they're in the little teleporter room here. We have a whole other episode to do about, Star Trek and that playset because that is also something I'm extremely interested in. I have a colleague who has one and I'm very jealous. They look so nonchalant as they're being broken up into atoms and reassembled somewhere else. Spock's like copping an attitude here, and Kirk's like, if you don't like it, go work on a different spaceship. But there's, oh, wait a second. And then they have the bridge, right? And it's worn because it was the bottom,
Right.
But everybody's going to red alert. McCoy's pissed off at somebody for something. Get back to
Damn
work.
it, Jim, I'm on top.
Yeah, damn it, Jim. And there's Spock's, he's actually doing like a death grip on this poor guy, right? You steer the ship the way I tell you or else. But yeah, cool example. But yeah, obviously something in this condition commands a premium. So best wishes to the seller and to anybody interested in that really cool vintage toy or lunchbox. Just before I go, this caught my eye. We're in the rabbit hole. It's got the thermos.
Got the thermos.
Greg, $775, 15 bucks or so for shipping and handling. And this is a really decent looking one. It's got a little wear and tear, but with the thermos, oh boy, got a little dent. I don't know. That looks fantastic, even for that amount of money. if someone's got the budget, it's got 32 watchers. I believe it, because this is a really cool piece of memorabilia. And there's the thermos. Oh, what's going on in this scene? Look at, is that Chekhov? He's almost got like a laser rifle there. Pretty wild. Oh, who's that? I don't even know who that is, but look out. There goes the Enterprise. Well, Greg, as always, I give you the final word. But thanks for, exploring this sort of collectible avenue with me.
Well, I'd like to thank our good friend Mark Bon Jovi, who watched our first episode, and he reminisced about how he got for Christmas the Star Wars Death Star playset, and that brought back good memories for him.
Yeah, it's a
And
cool. Shout out to Mark,
I'd like
definitely.
to thank another subscriber, Donna, who said that our first episode helped her fall asleep.
Okay. Well, at least we're
So
good for something.
yeah, we've got that going for ourselves.
Great. But if you've gotten this far into this episode, we're trying not to be too obvious about it, but we would like for you to like and subscribe.
And comment.
And especially comment. Yeah, we want to know, what was your favorite lunchbox back in the day? What lunchbox did you have? Was this interesting to you? Are there other ones you'd like us to take a look at? And especially if you are a collector of this stuff and you've been able to find like a sweet bargain somewhere, we'd love for you to leave that in the comments section, and we will look at all those comments and reply. So thanks everybody for watching.
Maybe we could help you buy and sell on eBay if you have any questions about that also.
Absolutely. Thanks, Greg.
All right. Thanks, Jimbo.
We'll see you next time.